Kep1er is really making a name for themselves in the K-pop industry after having a very successful debut. Not only did they become the second highest selling debut by a female K-pop group, they also got their first win just 10 days after debuting. But unfortunately, they're a survival show group. This means that they're eventually going to be forced to disband despite their success. And honestly, I have a few things to say that I'm seriously concerned about. We all know that Kep1er just debuted with a mini album, but fans are already worrying about how long they're going to last as a group and whether there's a chance for an extension of their contract. As we all know, they're a survival show group, which makes things super tricky. The whole point of these groups is to let the trainees debut in a group and temporarily promote this new project group until they eventually disband on a certain date. They get the exposure that they want and need so that before they come back to their respective companies, they're already familiar to the public eye. They also gain fans that may support them even if the project ends. Their companies will use their popularity that they gain to make the debut more successful. Kep1er are going to be a group for 2.5 years as their contract states. It's the same contract length as IZ*ONE's, but is there going to be a possibility for an extension, or are they just going to suffer the same fate and disband? Contract expansions are possible, but no temporary group has gotten one, at least to my knowledge, so correct me if I'm wrong. For a contract extension to happen, 2 conditions need to be fulfilled. The group needs to be commercially successful, and CJ, and all artist agencies involved need to come to an agreement for a contract extension. Usually, small agencies and CJ, are never against this, and why would they be? Small agencies get the chance to promote their artists even more without having to spend money to debut a group on their own, and CJ, can get money from promoting their group. It's simple. So who's the snag that causes the contracts not to get extended? Bigger agencies and agencies with very popular members are usually not very big fans of the extensions. This is because the produced contract stated that CJ, would keep 50% of the revenue since they're the ones managing and promoting the group, and the other agencies would split the remaining 50% among themselves. We don't know what exactly the Kep1er contract says, but if it's the same, then the 50% would be split between 9 companies, which will result in them getting 5.5% of the revenue. In the end, it will depend on how much the members will be worth to their respective agencies after 2.5 years. For example, it's possible that a smaller agency refuses the contract extension because their artist has become very popular during the promotion period, and it would be more profitable to take over the promotion from CJ, I doubt that Kep1er will become a temporary group, but nothing's impossible. In IZ*ONE's case, for example, the companies were actually discussing a possible contract extension, but these talks fell through due to disagreement between the management companies. This mixed with the fact that they couldn't properly promote due to COVID, and the scandals popping up one by one about the competition being rigged, and the group eventually disbanded. That's the reason their disbandment seems so rushed. It was obvious that they were intending to release another album to finish the trilogy, but couldn't do so because of the scandal. Kep1er's case seems more or less the same as IZ*ONE's. They have the numbers and success to warrant the contract extension, and the members are mostly from small agencies, so if Kep1er continued for more than 2.5 years, it would be really beneficial to them. The only quote-unquote big entertainment agencies are Jellyfish, which isn't doing so well anyways, IST Entertainment, and Cube. Cube's case is kinda tricky though, since they haven't given a clear statement on whether CLC are still a group or not. Nevertheless, if everything goes smoothly for Kep1er, they may end up giving us 6 full Korean releases and/or comebacks, and potentially bonus releases in Japan and English. My knees are shaking just thinking about having 6 albums from Kep1er. The catch here is that nothing is certain. These 2.5 years with Kep1er might go smoothly, with the girls releasing as many albums as possible and without any major scandal to put their activities to a halt. But on the other hand, there are many factors that could prevent this from happening. One of them is, of course, COVID, which might impact their promotions. This will have an effect on their popularity whether we want to or not. The other is the possible scandals, and this is the most dangerous to the group. We, of course, have the voting manipulation scandals, which tarnished IZ*ONE's reputation. When Girls Planet 999 was still airing, there were a lot of complaints about the voting, which put the non-Korean contestants at a great disadvantage. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that seems kinda sus to me. There was also the whole controversy with Hyuning Bahia making the final lineup. Bahia was considered to have an unfair advantage over the other girls because she's TXT's Hyuning Kai's sister. She has received both votes and hype from TXT fans, which was really unfair according to netizens. Also, she was considered an average performer by the viewers, despite her proving herself with every performance, and her rank was relatively low throughout the show. Bahia held a ranking of 13 overall by the penultimate episode. Several believe that she wouldn't make it to the final lineup, which consisted of the top 9 members. However, when Girls Planet 999 switched to the controversial one-pick vote system, Bahia's ranking skyrocketed. There was a whole scandal with this too, since people found out that her fans found a way around the system. Her overseas fandom raised funds to buy cheap SIM cards in bulk. These SIM cards would then seemingly be used to cast their vote for her. So legal scandal or not, her fans ensured that Bahia ended up in the second position with 923,567 points and the maximum votes among all. Apart from Bahia's fans, viewers of the show were upset at the final results, with many believing others to be more deserving, so the show was labeled as rigged. Some believed Mnet tweaked the voting system in the last round to make sure she gets in. She even had a whole Blue House petition against her, asking for the president to make her leave the group. But with how Girls Planet 999 ended and the complaints around it, expect there to be a voting manipulation investigation anytime soon. The producers denied that there might have been any manipulation with the votes, but they said the same thing about IZ*ONE and X1, so it basically means nothing. And these vote manipulation controversies get often investigated years after the project groups are formed. Often the staff that worked on the show leaks some information, and then a scandal is born. Aside from this, there's the whole issue with their sales. I did mention that they broke a few records with their debut, but this fact alone seems fishy to some people. That was mostly because their pre-order numbers were bigger than IZ*ONE's, when IZ*ONE had bigger hype around their debut than Kep1er. Not only that, but Girls Planet 999 had lower viewership than Produce 101. But people forget that it has been 4 years since IZ*ONE debuted, and Girls Planet 999 had a really strong fan base behind them. Xiaoting stole the hearts of viewers and non-viewers, Eugene already had Cheshire supporting her, and the other members had stable fan bases before they even debuted. After Wadada got released, the number of fans grew even more. Of course they would exceed IZ*ONE's pre-orders, but this has turned into quite an issue between Kep1er and IZ*ONE fans. Then there's the issue of their debut. Wadada was a bop, don't get me wrong, but it would be naive to think that a group that started with controversies would debut without some. As a group that came out of a survival show, issues like center position, screen time, and line distribution have quickly sparked fierce controversy within the fandom. Since the lineup of Kep1er was decided by the fans around the world expected each member to be given the line and screen time that matched their final ranks. But the reality is a whole different situation, and the worst case is Hyuning Bahia. Despite ranking second in the final lineup, Hyuning Bahia gets the least lines in the album First Impact. In the B-side track, See the Light, Bahia only had 3 seconds of lines. Yes, you heard me right, only 3 seconds. Now, I know it's not possible for the line distribution to be completely even, but only 3 seconds of lines when she ranks second seems pretty weird to me. The hate for the members hasn't stopped even after their debut. Bahia is still suffering from the hate of people who didn't want her to be a part of the final lineup. Even Yurina, a Girls Planet contestant, was seen liking comments on TikTok which were asking her to stop her fans from sending Bahia unnecessary hate. These girls always stick together. Taehyun too has been the victim of some disgusting comments about her body. Specifically, she has garnered attention for her belly in a fan cam focusing video and has been receiving body shaming comments. It all started when YouTube channel Sojourn posted a video body shaming her, but thankfully all fans and netizens came to her defense. A netizen stated, "When you wear clothes that are too tight in the waist, it can cause skin to bulge like that no matter how skinny you are. I can't believe this is anything worth leaving hate comments calling her fat over." While it's really heartwarming to see these people defend her against these comments and netizens supporting her, I hope that Taehyun wasn't too affected by the comments and that she won't be a victim of these comments ever again. With netizens and overall society's ridiculously high beauty standards, I hope she and the other girls are left alone, because I will not hesitate to fly to Korea and fight these commenters myself. What I want to say is that we should cheer Kep1er on and support them, but at the same time, I'm worried that we're gonna be super invested again and then extremely disappointed once they disband because the agencies won't want to prolong their contract. I just hope that the girls themselves will be okay and that their career will be long. Thank you for watching, bye!